Hi everyone, Daniel here from Automotive Talk. I'm just doing a video today on my 300ZX. Starting off at my M3. I've got a fan clutch problem with the 300ZX, but to start with I'll just show you on the M3 how the fan clutch should be spinning. So these cars are both built in the early 1990s. They both have a viscous style clutch instead of one that operates electronically. So if I spin the M3 fan and clutch, it's got quite good rotation. It doesn't rotate too quickly. It's not biting up or anything. The 300ZX, if I try and rotate the fan with one hand, it's very stiff. So this item requires a replacement. After my last track day a couple of months ago, I noticed that the fan clutch was a lot noisier than usual. It seemed to be stuck on all the time, and it was drawing quite a bit of power out of the engine. You can order both fan clutch for the naturally aspirated and twin turbo models. You can tell this is for the naturally aspirated model, which is what my car is, by this red dot down here. This is a OEM product off an old car that had low miles on it. I didn't go for an aftermarket unit because I've heard that you can have more trouble than what they're worth, and buying a completely new OEM unit would have cost a bit too much money. It attaches to the water pump assembly down here, so there's 4 10mm bolts attaching it to the water pump. The clutch doesn't need to work as hard when you're driving at higher speeds because you're getting that cool air coming through the radiator. So more often than not, the unit really turns on when you're idling, when you're not getting any cool air through the front of the car. So what I understand of the fan clutch is it's made up of chambers, and silicon runs between these chambers, and depending on the temperature that's coming through the coil, the silicon runs between the chambers and either turns the fan to make it go faster or slows it down. So the way I'm going to attack it is I'm probably going to have to remove this big fan shroud here, or else I'm not going to be able to get the unit out. And I'm also probably going to undo the air intake over here, and we'll see how we go from there. I'm going to start off by removing 4 of these 10mm nuts that attach the clutch to the water pump. So I've got a pretty good view of the old fan and fan clutch, and as you can see it's pretty far gone. I think it's been leaking at some point. I can't get this bottom bit to rotate at all, so I'm glad I'm replacing the unit, and the fan itself needs a pretty good clean up. I'll be looking to replace that further down the track. So it's got 4 10mm bolts that I'm just going to undo to remove the fan from the clutch assembly. I'm thinking that this clutch that was on the car was probably the original clutch that came with the car 30 years ago, and the difference is really telling between the two now. So that's the old one there, and it just doesn't rotate at all. This is the new one. You can quite easily rotate that just with one hand. I've just reinstalled the air intake hose and the screws into the radiator shroud, so there are 4 screws that needed to go back in there. And looking at the fan clutch, I've put that back in, it's all gone well. I can rotate the fan quite easily with one hand. So now I'm just going to go take the car for a drive, and we'll see if there's any improvements. just taken the 300ZX out for a drive. I can only do 5 kilometres because currently we're got a restriction in Victoria, so you can't drive any more than 5 kilometres. But the car feels really good now, really responsive. It's not noisy at all now, so the fan clutch change has really helped. I really hope you've enjoyed the video and learnt something. This is the first time I've done a fan clutch, so I'll certainly learn a lot. And if you like the video, please go ahead, like and subscribe, and feel free to visit my website automotivetalk.com to see more information about this car and other cars. Thanks for watching.